Was Bloods by Devo, and I just farted. Welcome. KRFF 95.9, RadioFreeFargo.org, the best independent radio station in the stinking world as far as I'm concerned, and you're lucky enough to have your ear hole tapped in to the beauty that is Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Every Thursday, 4 o'clock, I get in here, 4:20, I open a big fat bag of cannabis news. I'm the torch-carrying cannabis prophet, imploring that we vote yes on Measure 2 in the state of North Dakota. We get to vote on recreational cannabis. You get to have up to 3 plants growing in your house or in your shed or on your hat. I mean, I guess you can grow them wherever you want if you vote yes on Measure 2 and the majority does that. You're going to be able to have an ounce, and it's just going to be regulated, and it's the medical benefits are so vast and even minute that if the state's regulators don't allow medical as flexible as they should, then this is the best way to get it into the hands of the consumer. So November 8th, it's a Tuesday. That's 2 weeks from now. To get the education out, get people out, get telling them about it. Vote yes on Measure 2. Or we ain't going to get you any presents for Christmas. Start doing that, How do you like getting a ride to work? You like carpooling with me? Vote yes on Measure 2, or you can walk to stink in the store. Just some sort of, match the underhandedness of the prohibitionists, and, get a little passive-aggressive and get the vote done. But anyway, I kid, and we'll talk about that more. We'll talk about where you can early vote. Right before me was Side Stage with Trav, 1 to 3, and my nose is twitching from a pungent kind of just like neglect, like you would set like some pickles out on the hot dash of your car and then go on vacation. That's how it kind of smells in here. So I feel like Stinky Arts Music Mart is going to be up after me, 5 to 7. Then Fish, Fred, spelled with a P, the automated DJ, is going to hold it down until this evening. Black Ring Ritual wraps up your Thursday here on KRFF 95.9, RadioFreeFargo.org. I believe cannabis was put here by God himself, our creator, who, if you're not showing him your props, you don't know what you're missing. And I worship him every Thursday, Antioch Church, 11 a.m., 417 Main Avenue here in Fargo. I'm on stick duty, so come watch me flail like the animal. And by the animal, I mean the Muppet. Because that's who I probably relate to the most. If I wouldn't ask you to call me Wilson, it would probably be Animal, the Muppet. Anyway, cannabis legalization, the benefits of cannabis measures. We've got one. South Dakota's got one. Missouri has one as well. Arkansas, bless their hearts, and Maryland are the states on the ballot this November. So if you hail from one of them states, we're going to talk about South Dakota a little bit here at 4:20 when we open a big fat bag of cannabis news. Again, stay tuned. I'm going to fill you in on early voting, where you can go here in the state of North Dakota. However, this show is brought to you by Black Cottage Alchemy, blackcottagealchemy.com, Black Cottage Alchemy on Facebook, or you can scurry down here on your e-bike and jump into Toe Cheap Products and pick up the body butter. It's made with kosher full-spectrum CBD, North Dakota-grown hemp seed oil, 1,600 mgs of CBD, got sage, rosemary, frankincense, comfrey, myrrh, and a mugwai. That's a little gremlin joke for you guys. It's good for neuropathy, pain, inflammation, eczema, psoriasis, diaper rash, which I get that every day. Dry and irritated skin, chemo burns, all over soothing. Get you some of this. Thank you, Black Cottage Alchemy, for sponsoring this show. Again, Canna-Talk ND with Wilson every Thursday. I get in here. I feel pretty good. I hope you guys got your sweaters on today because it's a little gloomy here. I suppose in the wake of Halloween, I was thinking, man, I dropped the ball. Normally I have a Halloween show. I cater to the tunes, to the spooky. I blow up the stupidity of cannabis and candy trick-or-treating. Everybody knows that's the stupidest thing any liar could do to get you to believe that somebody's wantonly, frivolously putting money into trick-or-treaters when they could just give them, penny Tootsie Rolls. All of a sudden, this guy wants to give you $40 eighths. It's ridiculous. Shaped like a Easter chocolate bunny. That's stupid. But I forgot to do it. So the only thing scary I can tell you guys is that if we don't vote in Measure 2, cannabis is still going to be illegal in the state of North Dakota. Ooh, everybody's scared? Cannabis could still be illegal in the state of North Dakota if you don't vote yes on Measure 2. Well, I hope I've scared at least your cat that's probably sitting there next to you in the living room as you listen to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Well, Canna-Talk ND on Instagram. I don't really post on it except for to tell you that I'm getting ready to do a show. But, it is what it is. And so I believe we've got ourselves to our first musical break. Here's the Apples, The Power, 95.9, Radio Free Fargo. Yes, sir. The Power by the Apples. That was a 2009 joint there on KRFF 95.9, RadioFreeFargo.org, streaming wherever you are in this great earth of ours, this round marble, the blue and green marble. Welcome to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Every Thursday I get in here 4 o'clock, 4:20, open a big fat bag of cannabis news, and this Thursday's no different. I'm going to be trumpeting Measure 2, the state of North Dakota's recreational cannabis legalization measure. You, my friend, are going to get to vote on in, a couple weeks, November 8th. If you're 18, that's all you need. If you're a resident of the state of North Dakota and you're over 18, boom, get your hind end to a voting booth. We're going to talk about early voting and where you can do that here in just a second. But first, programming on KRFF 95.9 is being underwritten by Discontent Fargo. Discontent Fargo is your high-class counterculture lifestyle store. Discontent is your destination for the smoke and vape culture, providing a dense selection of artist-based, handcrafted glassworks, vapor products, and lifestyle apparel. That's clothes for you idiots. Discontent Fargo is located at 512 Broadway in downtown Fargo, open 10 to 9 Monday through Saturday and noon to 7 on Sundays. For more information, check out Discontent Fargo on Facebook and their Instagram at Discontent Stores. Thank you, Discontent, for sponsoring and underwriting the best independent radio station in the world as far as I'm concerned. Now, let's see. Let's talk about early voting. Early voting for what? Measure 2. It's the legalization measure. You can grow up to 3 plants. You're going to be able to have an ounce. It's going to be regulated. The stores are going to have minimal mold spores on your train wreck. At least, no more than 2 spores per gram, they say. And I'm just goofing. I got no idea, but it's nice to know. And for you old hippies, remember Paraquat? That was stuff they were spraying. The government was literally spraying on the cannabis. And it was almost a funky smell. Now, I don't want to say that I had gotten some in the early 90s. It was probably just moldy Mexican weed that got shoved in a gas can and then, blown over the, whatever that river is. What is that river? It don't matter. The Rio Grande. There it is. So maybe it was just moldy, but it would have been, I remember getting headaches. I remember discussing the spots on the cannabis that had the mold, and we just kind of worked around it. It was kind of just all in a day's work. Feel me? But it would be nice to have that regulated, to have a regulatory process to limit the mold on your green. Moldy Trees, only a good band. And actually, Moldy Trees is a Radiohead cover band. They're going to be at Dempsey's tomorrow. Just kidding. Anyway, Fargo, early voting. If you want to vote yes on Measure 2, and you should, and you want to hurry up and do it, as you also should, I'm going to be able to tell you right now how to do that. All right? And I'll talk about it again in the last segment, just so everybody's clear and we know what's going down. And make sure you have the information available so you can vote yes on Measure 2. Which is the cannabis recreational legalization bill that we the people get to vote on. And trust me, we the people are the only people going to get this done, y'all. So do your part. Get your gram out. Offer a little ice cream or something. I don't know. Give her some cannabis ice cream. Make it yourself. I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't make it yourself. Fargo, Cass County early voting starts on Halloween. Ooh. All of Cass can vote early, and you can go to any of these venues in Fargo, West Fargo, or Castleton. So where? Fargo Dome, 1200 North University Drive in Fargo, West Acres. That's in Fargo. Red River Valley Fairgrounds, Hartle Ag Building, 1805 Main Avenue, West Fargo. Northview Church, shout out Northview Church, 3401 25th Street, South Fargo. Days in Castleton, 2050 Governor's Drive in, you guessed it, Castleton. When in Castleton, date and times, November, or Scary Day through the 4th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you're in Grand Forks, the Alara Center. That you can vote anywhere between 11 the 1st of November to the 5th, 10 a.m. to 2 on the 5th and 6th. Bismarck, 1026 to 1107. Most of these dates are 9 to 5. Bismarck Event Center, you can early vote. Early voting starts 1026, so that was yesterday. Mandan, that also started 1026. Disciples Church, Memorial Highway, get your early voting in. Looks like they're doing mostly 9 to 5s. Minot, Ward County, 1031 to 11:7, 10 to 6. Where's that at? Ward County Admin Building. If you live in Dickinson, early voting is 11:1 to 11:3. Prairie Hills Mall, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., November 1, 2, and 3. Jamestown, if you live in Stutzman, early voting is 10:31 to 11:4. And so if you don't early vote, which you don't have to, I'm going to probably just wait until the 8th because I can go to the Civic Center, and I live downtown, and all those other spots are a little far, but I can assure you I'll be voting yes on Measure 2, and I would hope that everybody else will as well. Well, we're going to play a little jammy jam, and then boomity bing bing bing, it'll be Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Every Thursday, 4:20, I open a big fat bag of cannabis news, and that is what you can expect. And directly after me, Stinky Arts Music Mart, 5 to 7. That'll be exciting. Make sure you hang out for that. Then a little automation with my boy Fred, spelled with a P. Black Ring Ritual, that's your Thursday. But right now, here's Rock, the Allergies.
Party people in this here spot. You better get on up, because it's time to rock.
Yes, indeed. That was Rock featuring Andy Cooper. Short for Andrew, I bet. The Allergies here on KRFF 95.9, RadioFreeFargo.org, streaming everywhere in a stinking world. The best radio station in the world as far as I'm concerned. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Every Thursday I get in here at 4 o'clock. 4:20, open a big fat bag of cannabis news, and that is happening as we speak. So please, if you have a medical card, scurry to the freezer, grab some ice out of it, stick it in a cylinder that's made out of glass usually. Grab you a combustible tool. Gurgle, friends. We'll see you on the other side of this. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson.
Hey, it's Phil from Canna-Heads. Like this episode? Hit that like button. And if you enjoy the show, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on cannabis news, local and national. Listen live on 95.9 in the Fargo, North Dakota region from 4 to 5 p.m. on Thursday. For our non-Fargo region friends, you can listen on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Now enjoy the show.
Grab my sack indeed. Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I'm Wilson. This is the segment where we talk about cannabis legalization, the benefits of cannabis in general. Now, because I live in Fargo, North Dakota, and we're going to be able to vote on a cannabis measure, I'm going to probably, and like it's been said, I hate beating a dead horse. I would rather tap into some sort of creativity, laced abstraction that would entertain my inner artistic ability. However, it's important that if I don't beat a dead horse, then the anti-cannabis people will continue to beat the dead horse, and then their dead horse is going to be alive November 8th. And we don't want anti-Measure 2 dead horses running around November 9th, gloating about how they won. So we need to get the vote out. Vote yes on Measure 2. It's a cannabis measure. It's a good one. It's a good one. It contains the regulatory process. It allows home grow, which for medical patients is a godsend, and that's going to be very awesome. Just to diversify your medicine cabinet, because if you have the plant and a little bit of wherewithal, you're going to be able to take care of you and your family, down from your grandpa down to your stupid hedgehog that has anxiety. A little cannabis for your sugar glider. He just stops gliding, but I give him a little CBD, and he just glides all day long. So vote yes on Measure 2, and let's get the sugar glider, his glide back with a little cannabis. and he's currently living in Watford City. They call him Mr. Sugar, and we're good friends, me and the Sugar Glider. Henry's his name, Henry the Sugar Glider from Watford City. And that's just a little taste of fake news I might be bringing to the airwaves on Saturdays here next spring. I'm thinking about doing a fake news show and just making stuff up, kind of like Henry the Sugar Glider, who could benefit from some cannabis in Watford City. But anyway, let's get talking about cannabis, should we? Again, if you're in the state of North Dakota or South Dakota or Arkansas, Missouri or Delaware, I think it might be Maryland, scratch that last D word, and get out and rock the vote November 8th. Tell your buddies, tell your friends, tell your priest, and tell the good sister she could do better than Xanax and Somas to get closer to God. That just is it's a pun about sleeping. I mean, I doubt nuns are on Xanax. They might be. At least one of them, maybe. But anyway, South Dakota is going to have a little trouble. And it's interesting. They did a poll that said that the people, and now keep in mind, South Dakota voted kind of resoundingly last voting cycle, and then it got destroyed by Christie Don't Know and the single subject rule, and it was just a big stupid mess, right? But they derailed a measure that had been voted in. So you would think if we vote again this year and you do a poll, that those numbers should reflect that. But apparently, and we're going to talk about it right now, poll. This is from Ganjapreneur. South Dakota voters poised to reject adult cannabis use measure. A new survey found that 50.5% of South Dakota respondents plan to vote against it. Now, we're really splitting hairs here. And I believe if polls were that accurate, we would get polled to death. Now, there's definitely polls, and people like to do them. And, even New Approach North Dakota is pro-polls. That's just what political mumbo jumbo includes. Polling importance. If you can find out what people think, then you can convince them or reroute their thinking or do a particular thing to say get maybe 51.4%. And so I'm not a numbers guy. I mean, I was just good at taking the drugs. I wasn't good at selling them. Why sell them when I can put them up my own nose? It just didn't seem like it made any sense to sell drugs that you wanted. No, there was a grand scheme, like you sold two, you get one for free, but I never got that far ahead. I was too busy doing it, However, the polling seems poised to reject it. Now, how does that happen? Because just stinking a year ago, it was over 54%. So, here's the breakdown. The poll found that 44.1% of female respondents plan to back the reform, with 54% opposed. 36% of men polled said they plan to vote yes, with 46.7% opposed. Now, how did that get swung? I don't know. I believe with Matthew Schweck, my homeboy there in South Dakota, who's been holding it down, he's a rock star when it comes to pro-cannabis. He backs the measure. He said despite the polling with less than 2 weeks prior to the midterm election, he believes the campaign is still in a position to win, and I believe him. I believe that there's a large number of voters who don't typically vote in midterm elections who are going to be motivated to show up and vote in favor of Measure 27, he told Kiloland. South Dakota voters had passed adult cannabis use reforms in 2020, but they were ultimately struck down. Now, Jim Kenyon, committee chair for Protecting South Dakota Kids, which is basically, a spin artist liar. I mean, I'm a proof and truth-based person. Show me some stats. Don't give me just some crazy vagary, like saying drugs are up a certain percent when you include everything in there. You're talking about cannabis, but you say drugs are up? Cannabis, first of all, is a plant, and there's a lot of drugs. So, see how misleading that can be? If I tell you, hey, all the numbers are up in all these states for drugs, well, we're not talking about drugs here, buddy. We're talking about cannabis. And those stats are completely different. And there's a fight now to get it off the Schedule 1. There's no fight to get fentanyl off Schedule 1. There's no, doctors and medical practitioners that are promoting cannabis like there is now. And in the state of North Dakota with Measure 2, all the press is pro-cannabis. Where are all the naysayers? I don't have a lot of social media accounts. I don't listen to the news. I don't watch TV. I'm a Christian now, I'm kind of tapped into the more wholesome stuff. Like I pray and read my Bible and just try to get through the day without, getting shot in the eye by negative poison-dipped arrows. I don't know what I'm talking about. All I'm saying, though, is this Jim Kenyon. He says he's very, very hopeful that as more messages get out and more people find out about what marijuana will do, the dangerous drug that it is, that more folks will turn out because that is way too narrow of a margin. Well, how will people find out what marijuana will do? The dangerous drug that it is. How are they going to find out? Who's telling them? I'm telling you it's not dangerous. I'm telling more people if they found out what cannabis would do, would be voting yes for Measure 27 or Measure 2 here in the state of North Dakota. The indoctrination is strong in North Dakota, South Dakota. It just really is. But I would like to see some proof. Like this Jim Kenyon, all he said was words. Now, they're scary words. And if you take him at face value and say, well, he's on the chair for protecting kids, bless his heart. However, I could probably show you some people that were on committee chairs for protecting kids that were diddling them when you weren't looking. I mean, Google it. There's probably stats about that. I don't like getting off into a negative, depressive mindset. But I guarantee you, if you felt like Googling people who were on committee chairs for children that actually have been busted and, been to prison because they were abusing the very kids on the chair of the board of the thing they were supposed to be protecting the kids. If I had a nickel for every one of those people, I'd probably be able to, invest in Bitcoin. So I'm supposed to believe this guy because he says he's a committee chair for South Dakota kids. He says it's dangerous. He shows no proof. He goes, more people's going to find out how bad it is. How? When? Where? I mean, pull your head out of your proverbial hinder and look at all the people making the monies. Case in point, Ganjapreneur report international medical cannabis market could reach $40 billion by 2028. Let me go ahead and say that again. A report found the international, that's in the world, medical cannabis market could grow an estimated 19%, just 19, from 2022 to 2028 to reach a $40 billion global value. Value, not detriment, not a decline in our society. However, I watched on the news when I was drinking my coffee at the soup kitchen a couple mornings ago, and I found out that stinking rainbow fentanyl has made it to Fargo. Rainbow fentanyl, everybody. I mean, you going to tell me that's not a child-marketed ploy by some say the Chinese? But, who am I? Who am I? Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. That's who I am every Thursday, 4:20. Open a big fat bag of cannabis news, and that's what I'm muddying my way through as we speak. I'm doing all right. But anyway, medical cannabis could reach $40 billion. That sounds like, to me, good. That sounds good to me. Now, let's talk about this guy. You guys heard of Iron Maiden? How about Bruce Dickinson, the guy who can fly a plane to his concerts? Apparently, he don't like people smoking the ganj at his concerts in the front row. Who knew he was a Karen? Iron Maiden's Karen Dickinson. I mean, is there a Karen Dickinson? I don't know. But who knew a heavy metal band would have a bunch of girls when it comes to cannabis smoke? However, at least a percentage of them are stinky, haven't showered. Gotta smell like horrible booze. Anyway, now, here's what the singer said. If you want to go get completely stoned out of your cuss word mind, go out in the back and do it, all right, said the singer. However, you're paying a premium ticket price. It's standard to party when you're listening to music. That's just what you do. Now, I don't condone it because, I'm dancing with the man upstairs now, So, but I'm going to get down, If worshiping God means running around or jumping up and down, that's what I'm going to do. If you're going to an Iron Maiden show and you're going to rock with the skeleton, well, you're going to do some cannabis. Iron Maiden's famously surly vocalist let the crowd know at a pair of the band's recent shows. And it's funny because they were in Cali and Washington. I mean, this guy, maybe he should just stop coming to those states. Maybe he should. Anyway, he let the crowd know at a pair of the shows that he feels smoking cannabis in the front row is disrespectful. Boo-hoo, Bruce. Boo-hoo, Bruce. Policing his group's performance space may be the stage veteran's prerogative, but the rock community was not willing to let his anti-cannabis rhetoric slide. Again, at the Honda Center in Anaheim, he goes, "I don't know what it is," said Dickinson. "There's so many effing people smoking so much stinking dope down here. I'm amazed you could even see." It's like, well, why don't you just focus on playing the song? You know what I mean? Per usual, the vocalist laid some of the blame for his outburst on bassist Steve, who apparently cannot stand cannabis. Now, I live in an apartment building that caters to the nerds that like to play their gamings and books and whatnot. Now, you get a bunch of them together with none of the windows open. It can smell a little rank, we'll say. A little, puberty, Red Bulls, lack of hygiene attention. And I had one of them kids walk through past the elevator as I was waiting to go up to where I live, which is above these comic book stores. He goes, "Oh, man, you live here? Oh, that's got to be horrible, smelling all the cannabis that's burnt in this building." And I'm thinking, man, I'd much rather get my nose to waft a bouquet of, I don't know, Maui Wowie or Hawaiian Punch than neglect of your hygiene needs and wearing a tank top without deodorant being seen on those 4 hairs you got sticking out in 6 months. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, one's a fruity bouquet of floral nose candy, and a bunch of people in a closed-up room rocking to Iron Maiden cannot smell as good as some good flower being blown up on that stage. I mean, you got to start smelling your own ass after a while. Going, boy, I wish somebody could blow up some purple so I don't have to smell my own self. Here's what he says. He says he'd prefer if you just left the concert, if you wanted to light up. He would just ask it first. He just wants a little respect. Just a little respect. He goes, if you want to go get completely stoned, go out and back and do it. Otherwise, you're going to end up like this stupid knucklehead here going, And he did say it like a stoner. Seattle. Here's what he said again. "Oh, how I love," and he loves to cuss, which, I mean, I can't respect that. "Oh, I love the smell of sweaty human bodies," he said. "It's the weird stuff that you smoke that messes me up. And the bass player, he hates it. He just doesn't like it. Please, if you're going to go get stoned, just do it out back and then come back, okay? Because we're having a good time up here and I want to enjoy it. You don't have, you may want to enjoy it, but you don't have to. It's your job, dude. Get up there, play your stinking song, run to the hills, and then go to your next town. Because that's what you do. We paid to hear you do your thing, dude, not you to critique us. You know what I mean? So, hate breeds Jamie Jasta. He wanted to make sure Dickinson knew he was being a tool. He goes, "Hey, you're a good vocalist." He goes, "We took your son's band on tour. Hope you're good. Just so you know, lots of people like to smoke cannabis at outdoor concerts. It's stinking outdoor." He goes, "What doesn't annoy you, bro, besides flying planes? You may need a puff or two." So that's pretty funny. Here's another article. CBD-rich cannabis can effectively treat dementia symptoms. This is from MaryJane.com. Cannabis extracts with a 2:1 CBD to THC ratio can help manage behavioral symptoms and rigidity in patients with dementia. And you can Google this yourself. One recent Israeli study reports that dementia patients who took a 30-1 CBD cannabis extract 3 times a day showed lower rates of aggression, agitation, and insomnia. As a whole, researchers observed a marked improvement in each of these patients' behavioral symptoms. So there you go. And there you have it. So, what do we got here? Small business owners strongly support record sealing for cannabis and other drug offenses. Okay. Now, Nevada judge. This is from Cannabis Moment. Nevada judge orders Board of Pharmacy to remove cannabis from Schedule 1 under agency's unconstitutional code. Hear, hear. Nevada judge has ruled that the Board of Pharmacy's classification of the drug as Schedule 1 violates the state constitution, and that the agency exceeded its authority by making that designation. In a follow-up, though, to our win in the case against the Board of Pharmacy, the court today rules the Board of Pharmacy cannot schedule cannabis under any schedule. So the board no longer has the authority to regulate cannabis products as a controlled substance in any category. It is officially off the Schedule 1 list, says Brett Forrest. So the ACLU of Nevada filed a lawsuit earlier this year alleging that despite voter-approved legalization, police have continued to make arrests because the Board of Pharmacy has refused to remove cannabis from its controlled substance list. The board attempted to get the lawsuit dismissed, but Hardy rejected that motion in July. So the Nevada Board of Pharmacy acted outside of its authority when it failed to remove it from the list of Schedule 1. Meanwhile, the state's properly authorized regulators announced earlier that the applications is open for consumption lounges. So, now, I think that's a big win. Let me read this again. Nevada judge orders Board of Pharmacy to get rid of cannabis as a Schedule 1 under agency's unconstitutional code. Well, that's really good news. What do we got here? Stinking Brittany Griner. Now, I don't know if you guys have been following this, but she was a woman WNBA star here that was going on their off season and playing in Russia. She got snagged with 2 cannabis vape cartridges in August, and they've sentenced her to 10 years in prison. And was allegedly discovered in her luggage by custom officials as she was traveling to the country to play for Russia. It does seem interesting because I just don't know why you would mess with a star like that. You know, it's like you know her. Why would you shake her down? Griner will be sent to a penal colony, but her lawyers indicated it would be sometime before that move would be completed. They indicated that they had not yet decided whether they would launch another appeal. In a statement prior to the decision of appeals court, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan described the judicial proceeding as a sham. Now, Joe Biden has been very clear that Brittany be released immediately, but that's just what he said. What's he done? Now, what can they do? You're going to make Putin let Brittany go? It's a sad, sad world. That's why you don't fly to Russia with vape pens, no matter what you think. So anyway, Sullivan added that the admin remains in regular touch with reps of the family. Griner and her lawyers had asked the appeals court for acquittal. They called the charge was disproportionate to the offense. The presiding judge took more than 30 minutes to return. He's going to uphold it with no changes. Alexander Boykov, one of her lawyers, said the severity and cruelty of the sentence applied to Griner shocks people around the world. I was barely over the significant amount of cannabis oil, said Griner. People with more severe crimes have gotten less than what I was given, which that's always like, woe is me. At the end of the day, you shouldn't have flown with the cannabis. So, like I said, CBD-rich cannabis can effectively treat dementia symptoms. You're listening to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Every Thursday I get in here. 420, open a big fat bag of cannabis news. And now, to wrap up this show, I wanted to play a article, but it takes like stinking 50, it's like 5 minutes. So we're going to try to play it here. This is from Matthew Schweik. He attended the opponent's press conference, and he's got his rebuttals here, and we're going to go ahead and play it. Hold on.
The Yes on 27 campaign, they're hard at work on our Get Out the Vote plan. I got the vintage 2020 shirt on today, 13 days left until Election Day. Wanted to give you an update on our opponents.
This is basically Matthew Schweik from South Dakotans for Better Cannabis Laws. They had a opposition a speech at the library, and he went and checked it out, and now he's going to rebut all the negatives that they tried to spin, and then we'll wrap up this show with Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Here we go.
They held a press conference today in a public library, so we were allowed to be there, and we went down to see what new misleading statements they have today, and boy, was it a doozy. I think Mayor Tenhaken embarrassed himself, frankly, with the points he made. He put up crime rates about states that have legalized cannabis, no comparison with other states, no comparison over time. This kind of stuff wouldn't pass muster in a high school debate club. And he stands up as the mayor of this city and tries to influence an election, and he doesn't even do his homework. He also put up a chart with youth drug use rates, not cannabis, drug use. And he also put up a chart with homelessness numbers. No context, no comparison between legalization and non-legalization states. It's just so obvious that they don't have arguments. So they're desperate and they use these misleading statements. I also want to address Sheriff Milstead, who at one point referred to one of our leading spokespersons, Bill Stalker, and said that he might have memory issues. It is so offensive and insulting for him to say that. Bill Stalker is a veteran, served our country as a Marine. He's a former Sioux Falls police officer, served this city, and he's entitled to have his opinions about Measure 27. And for Sheriff Milstead to stand up in public on camera and question Bill's mental faculties is a disgrace. And I challenge you, Sheriff Milstead, if you watch this video, come down to our office and meet Bill Stalker and say what you said to his face. I don't think you will. Another thing about what Sheriff Milstead had to say today, he went through a list of stories about drug deals gone wrong, as though that's a reason to maintain prohibition and maintain the illicit market. It doesn't make any sense. Our plan is to pass legalization, build on that in the future, and over time, replace the illicit market, replace dealers with a regulated, licensed, legal, controlled system. So Sheriff Milstead, I don't know how you're interpreting this stuff and thinking that drug deals gone wrong is a reason to maintain laws that allow drug deals to continue to take place in our state and our city and our county. It makes no sense. A number of the people spoke and complained about our ads. Our ads are rock solid, whereas their ads are the most dishonest political ads in the entire state right now. No campaign, no candidate is running more misleading and dishonest ads than our opponents. They're running an ad that says Measure 27 legalizes drugs, plural. Our initiative only legalizes cannabis. And at the same time, their ad never mentions the words cannabis, marijuana, weed. They're trying to make people think that Measure 27 legalizes multiple drugs. It's disgracefully dishonest. I don't know how they can look themselves in the mirror running that ad on TV. And last thing, a member from the Chamber of Commerce was just whining about workplace policies. Hey, newsflash, Measure 27 doesn't change any workplace policies in the state of South Dakota. All employers can continue to maintain the same workplace policies they have. So I don't know why he's whining and complaining. He also said something about the black market increasing in legalization states. I challenge you, sir, to substantiate that claim with even one little shred of evidence. So it's just more of the same, misleading statements, misrepresentation of data, misrepresentation of our campaign, and it's all about fear because the political establishment wants to take away your freedoms. We stand with the people. We stand in defense of personal freedom. They want control over your lives. They want more government in your lives. And they have no compassion for medical cannabis patients. They say they do. I know they don't mean it. So today was just another reminder that we're up against a really dishonest campaign, and we need your help to win.
Right.
Well, that was beautiful. And that was Matthew Schweik from stinking South Dakota for Better Cannabis Laws. What an awesome dude. This guy's been fighting. He's honest. And I was looking at some of the comments here, and a guy that's pretty pro-cannabis in the state of North Dakota, Mr. Sanderson, he posted, he goes, "It's worse in North Dakota." He says the West Fargo sheriff is claiming people are dying from overdoses. He quoted a state crime stat of a state where it isn't legal yet. They're using the same reefer madness tactics. And it's really just crazy that there's really never no proof. It just seems so underhanded. So, again, vote yes on Measure 2 in the state of North Dakota, and let's show the schmucks that the people are in charge, and we're not gonna play with their weird vagaries and educate people when they say something that they've been influenced by something that isn't legit. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Every Thursday I get in here at 4 o'clock, 4:20, open a big fat bag of cannabis news, and I am wrapping this thing up as we speak. I'm going to mention some early voting places at the other side of this break, and then I'm going to get out of here. Stinky Arts Music Mart's on deck. Black Ring Ritual to wrap up your Thursday. Artecta Architects programming on 95.9 KRFF LP. Radio Free Fargo is being underwritten by Artecta Architects, like I said. Artecta combines art, technology, and architecture. They offer factory, prefab, modular building construction. To learn more, visit their website, artecta.com/modular. The location is 26 Robert Street North, Suite A, 109 in downtown Fargo. Also, the place I've called home for 22 years. So shout out Artecta Architects, and shout out to Matthew Schwake and the people fighting in South Dakota. And again, it's weird that they have that they voted it in. They voted it in 2020, and now the polls show that it's behind. I find that hard to believe. So anyway, if you're in North Dakota, vote yes on Measure 2. Tell your buddies to vote yes on Measure 2. If you're in South Dakota, vote yes on Measure 27. Measure 3 in Missouri, I believe. Arkansas, I'm not sure. I don't know how many people from Arkansas is even listening to me. But anyway, we're going to play a little song. I was just yesterday years old when I came across this song. It's 2017, Plain Jane Heroin, and there's a cannabis reference in it. See if you can spot it. Theo Katzman. Here we go. So groovy. Well, that was beautiful. Plain Jane Heroin, Theo Katzman on Radio Free Fargo, 95.9 KRFF. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson is wrapping this show up. I'll be in next Thursday, like I am every Thursday, 4 o'clock. Measure 2 will be the last week before we can vote, November 8th, for cannabis legalization here in the state of North Dakota. If you're in South Dakota, same deal. Make sure you get out and vote. Educate others on the benefits of cannabis so they can make a smart decision when they are in the voting booth. Because cannabis legalization is the best move. Take my word for it. Vote yes on Measure 2. Again, early voting in all the towns starting on Halloween. Google it for early voting and get that taken care of. This show, again, is brought to you by Black Cottage Alchemy, blackcottagealchemy.com, Black Cottage Alchemy on Facebook. The body butter is made with kosher, full-spectrum CBD, North Dakota-grown hemp seed oil, 1,600 mgs of CBD in this bad boy. Come down to Tochi Products. You can pick some up at a physical store if you'd like to. Again, on deck is Stinky Arts Music Mart, and man, is it stinky in here. So you've got yourselves a good show on deck here on KRFF 95.9. I'm going to shoot out of here. I'll see you next Thursday. Again, educate yourself on the benefits of cannabis so you can educate others on said benefits. This has been Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. But right now, David Allen, Judgment Day. Peace.